Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Scotland and thank you so much for clicking on today's video. As you can tell, we're doing another seasonal TBR, and as I've said in pretty much all of my TBRs, these are very much so anticipated, wanted, hopeful reads because I'm terrible at sticking to my TBR, but nonetheless I love to at least have a little lineup of what I would like to read for the next couple of months. In my mind, winter is December through February. I do live in Texas, so it's not very winter at all, ever. But in my mind, winter is December through February. Maybe a little bit of March, but not really, because March you start going on spring break. So, well, not me anymore. These are the books that I hope to get through from now until February 2023. So let's just go ahead and get right into the video. Now, I've kind of broken this up into three different categories of TBR because, like I said, I am a mood reader. So there's a lot of times where I'm reading multiple books at one time, and then other times where this is something I really want to get to, and then one that I think I could get to but I'm not too sure. So the first category is going to be what I'm currently reading right now. Now, don't say anything because it's kind of embarrassing. I am in the middle of 4 books right now because I just can't decide what I want to read, and 2 of them are audiobooks, so don't be too alarmed. But because I do work full-time from home, it is a bit harder to pick up a book throughout the day. So sometimes if I'm not wanting to watch a video or watch TV or listen to music, then I put on an audiobook. And then also I'll pick up a physical copy of a book, but if it's late at night and I feel like reading something but I don't feel like turning the lights on, then I read a book off of my Libby app on my phone. So that's why I have 4 books I'm currently reading right now, and I know I'm not the only one who does that, so don't judge me. The book that I'm furthest along right now is Happy Hour by Marlo Granados, and I'm pretty sure I've talked about this book so much in probably the last 2 vlogs I've had because I've been trying to read it. I'm about a third of the way into the book, and I feel like I've said the synopsis of this book 1,000 times, but just in case I haven't or you haven't seen me say it yet, this is a book about 2 best friends who are not American citizens but are living in New York for the summer during a really hot summer in New York, and basically just about living life, and it's described as a social commentary of young adults living in their 20s in a big city. So I do see some of that social commentary in this book, but I definitely think it's just a really fun read. Let me be honest, it's fun because a lot of the things I read, I've tabbed a bunch, and I don't know if you'll be able to tell, but I've tabbed a bunch, so I think it's fun because the writing is kind of simple, it's easy to get through, and it's really quotable, and I've seen a lot of relatable parts of this, and I've tapped a lot of relatable parts, and I think it's a really interesting, there's really interesting topics, or there's really interesting points in the book where the main character is constantly being told what kind of person she is by a man, and I think that's so interesting because I've always said to my friends that I don't care what people think about me, but I care about how I'm perceived, and people are like, that's not a difference, Scotland. I'm like, it is. There's a difference, because how I'm perceived is it's what you're putting out into the world, what you think you're putting out into the world, and then finding out what you're actually putting out into the world. So I think that's really interesting in this because a lot of them are not hitting the nail on the head. so it's just really interesting how confidently men do that. So I'm actually really enjoying reading this book because of those topics and because of those times where these are talked about in the book. Also, I feel like I relate to the main character a lot because she is kind of more of a composed, anxious, and she's very composed, but she has like her anxieties, and also she's not composed because she wants to be. She's composed because she's so concerned about the perception of her, even though she's a little unhinged. So I think that's why I enjoy this character so much, because I do see myself in it a bit. But that being said, I am having a difficult time getting through this book because it is fairly dense. I think it's just a contemporary fiction book, so there's not a lot happening, and like I've always said, I have no issue reading books that are all vibes, no plot, but it is making it a bit more difficult to get through it, and I'm finding myself being upset that I'm still only 138 pages into this 250 page book. And I'm like, why, Scotland? You can DNF. And it's not the sense that I'm going to DNF it because I don't like it. I just don't feel like finishing it right now. And I think it's because I want to read fantasy so bad right now. So I do like it. It's just taking me a bit to get through it, and I hope to finish it by the end of winter. I'll go ahead and finish talking about what I'm currently reading right now, and I don't have any of these physical copies, so I'll just like put them, I guess, right here. But I'm also reading Assembly by Natasha Brown. I believe that's who it's by, and it's a fairly short book. I think it's only about 120 pages, and it's about this Black woman living in England and London, and I believe she's going to her a white boyfriend's family gathering in the countryside for a weekend. And it's just a really, once again, it's a book that has truly no plot, just vibes. And I believe it's more so about her learning her place in the world, truly, in this white male dominated world that she's in. So I don't know too much about the book, but I'm actually really enjoying it. I'm about 30% into that book as well, and I'm reading it on the Libby app. Once again, if you guys haven't downloaded the Libby app, it's basically your online library. So wherever you have, if you get a library card from your local library, they most likely have a Libby app, and you can go in there and put your library card into it, and you can check out their ebooks and audiobooks on the app, and you can just read it, and I freaking love it. So I'm currently reading Assembly on that app. I also have 2 other books checked out on that app, both audiobooks. I have been in line for this book for probably, I want to say 3 months now, and I finally got it, and I have 3 days left to listen to it because I've been putting it off. But I do plan on reading or listening to the audiobook of I'm Glad My Mother Died by Jennette McCurdy. I was in between wanting to read it or listen to it because I know she does the audiobook for her own book, so I think it would be really nice to finally get to I think it'd be really nice to listen to it over than reading it because it is coming directly from her. So no need to give a synopsis about that story. I'm pretty sure if you're watching a booktube video, you know what the book is about. So that is also on the TBR, and I have 3 days to listen to it. So follow me on Goodreads if you want to know my review because I need to listen to it soon. And then lastly, the last book that I'm currently reading right now or listening to is Whiteout by a collection of Black authors. Yes. And I also read their first collection of authors book called Blackout in February of this year, and so that one was about a really hot summer in New York that caused a blackout, and it's just a collection of stories by all these different really popular Black authors, and I really liked that one. Not enough for me to buy Whiteout, so I was able to find the audiobook on Libby, so I'm listening to the audiobook right now, and it's honestly so good. I'm having such a good time, and I was listening to it while I was I was listening to it while I was working, and I was literally smiling at the computer screen because it was so funny, and I was just really enjoying it. And I do think that it really helps an audiobook when you have good readers, and I do think that that book has really good readers. So I'm listening to Whiteout. It's, like I said, a collection of stories by famous Black authors, like well-known young adult Black authors. And so if you're into it, I definitely recommend. I'm enjoying it, and I'm also about 30% into that one. So those are all the books I'm currently reading right now. Now, the high priority books are the books that I'm really hoping, like I hope once I'm done with these 4, will be the ones that I pick up next. And like I said, being a mood reader, the chances of that are very slim. But I feel confident that I like these books enough that I will pick them up and be in the mood to read them. Now, the first one is, let's see. Okay, yeah, I've been putting off this book. Sorry, there's like a glare, but I've been putting off this book because I don't want the series to be over. I'm obsessed with The Court of Mist and Fury. I'm so sorry. I know I'm late to the party, or people really hate that book, or people really hate that people like that book. I'm sorry. It was so much fun. It was so much fun, and I was like, I can't read anymore. I don't want the series to be over, but I can't do it, okay? Ever since I've read that book, I have not been able to like fully immerse myself into another book because I want nothing else but to continue reading the series. And I'm like, Scotland, this is screaming mental illness. Why are you not enjoying things that you know you're going to enjoy? It just doesn't make sense to me. So I'm finally gonna cave in, and I'm going to read this book. I have to read it. Like, this book is the secret to truly no one, I don't think. A Court of Rings and Ruin by Sarah J. Maas. It needs no introduction, okay? It's the 3rd book in the ACOTAR series. It's a hunker. She is thick, but I do think I could finish it, okay? I read A Court of Mist and Fury really quickly, and I would like to say, at the beginning of the year, I said that I don't read books that are over 400 pages, and I want to say this is some for real growth right here, okay? Because I have quite a few books that are over 400 pages, and I've read quite a few books that are over 400 pages this year, so I'll pause for the clap. Thank you. But yes, so I'm very hyped to read this one. I probably won't pick it up until January, but this is getting read. Like, I can't put it off any longer. I also plan to read, finally, The Secret History. I've picked it up, okay? I have tabbed some, and I think I'm 43 pages into it. And don't get me wrong, I didn't put it down because I didn't like it. I put it down because it was a hunker, okay? The writing is so small. Don't think you can tell, but the writing is so small. There's 1,500 pages. Okay, let me not be dramatic. There's like 600 pages. Not even 600 pages. There's 560 pages. So I can do it. I've proven to myself that I can do it, and I do really want to read it because I was enjoying myself while I was reading it. Once again, another book that truly needs no introduction. I'm pretty sure everyone's probably sick of seeing this book on people's TikToks, Instagrams, YouTube videos. Sorry, I'm another one to add to the group, okay? I want to read it. So, The Secret History by Donna Tartt. That leads me into the next one. I feel like if you've been a part of the community for a while, you know where I'm going with this, but to preface it, Book of the Month, not sponsored. However, I would love to be sponsored if they would want to, but Book of the Month was running a deal where you could sign up for only $5. Okay? As someone who's financially irresponsible and has no commitment to the books already on her shelf, I couldn't pass that up, okay? Sorry. So I did get Babel for $5, the hardcover. Wow. Okay, this one really felt like a win to me. It felt like it was a win, okay? A $5 Babel book. Now, granted, not in love with this cover. Truly hate the Book of the Month little tab thing at the side on the spine. Don't like it. and the actual like it's bleh, you know, it's not giving what the actual book from other stores would give, but it was $5, so I'm not one to complain. So I do hope to read Babel by R.F. Kuang by February. So this is where things get a little iffy, you see, because I have a lot of really long books on this book TBR, but I'm a slow reader. So not only am I a slow reader, I just don't have time to read all the time because, like I said, I do work full-time. But I work full-time and I like watching TV, okay? I have too many hobbies that make it really hard to really commit to any one hobby. But I do want to read this, and I think, like, I don't think you have to read The Secret History before you read this book, but I know that this book was inspired by The Secret History, so it just makes sense for me to read that one first, I feel like. So yes, Babel, truly, once again, like, nothing in this TBR is a spawn of originality, okay? Every book I've been influenced. I've been influenced by social media to read just about every single one of these books on my list. So if you're coming here to find something new to read, sorry to disappoint. So those were my high priority books, the ones that I'm really hopeful to get to after finishing the books I'm currently reading. And now this final category are books that I'm just really being ambitious about, really being hopeful, ambitious, hoping that I will get to them. First off is Ocean Vuong's On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous. This book cover is gorgeous alone, okay? It's so pretty. I don't think I've ever seen a paperback book with foiling on it, and it's just so incredible. I found this, I wasn't even looking for it, and I wasn't sure I wanted to read it, but I was at Half Price Books and they had it for $6. This very pretty, beautiful cover was only $6. I couldn't, like, once again, the financial irresponsibility came out of me and I just got it. And it's a fairly short book, so I don't think I'm being too crazy thinking I could get to it. It is at the bottom of the list, not because I'm not interested in it, but because if I don't get to it during this season, there's always a spring. But if you don't know about this book, which I'm pretty sure most people do, and I'm late to the party once again, but if you don't know about this book, it's about a boy who is writing letters to his mother who can't read, I believe, and I think he's just talking about his life, their life, and just finally expressing some things he wished he could tell his mom. I believe that's what it's about. I've said this all year long. I truly don't ever read the blurbs on the back of books. I probably read like 2 sentences of it just because I feel the same way about trailers. I don't want to be spoiled by knowing the entire summary of the book. But I do believe that this is what this one's about. It's highly rated. I don't think I've ever seen anyone talk about this book and not like it. And it's fairly short, so I'm very excited that I got this copy and I can read it, because I'm not gonna lie, the other copy, the original copy, I think, or the original cover of this book, I wasn't in love with, but this one, I'm a fan. I'm into it. Okay, we're not gonna be crazy and ambitious. We're going to stick to that. Those are the books that I'm planning on getting through by the end of, or by the top of February, honestly, because once you get into February, it starts pushing on like Valentine's Day, and that's a whole different, you know, TBR. But I think these are books that I could finish by the end of January or early February, and I'm really looking forward to them. I think this is like the most anticipated TBR I've had all year. Like, these are all books I'm really interested in getting to read. And not saying that the other TBRs I've had I haven't been interested in, but I haven't felt so strongly about the books on the TBR. These ones I'm really interested in getting into and wanting to finish them. So that was all for today's video. A fairly short and sweet video. I've noticed that TBRs are the most liked on this channel, and while I don't mind doing them, I do want to branch out and do other things. So leave a comment down below what you want to see, what you like seeing, what kind of videos you want me to take a stab at. I'm open to anything, truly, but I do enjoy just doing a little chatty TBR. If you like this, please like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps me out, and like I said, it lets me know like what you guys like to see, and I love reading the comments. With that being said, thank you for chilling with me during this video, and I will talk to you in the next one.